A lot. Like, I got pregnant on these a lot of times. Like a jelly bean, baby.
I know I just said in the YouTube video I reached my cap on abortions, but 2 abortions is not that bad last year. Like, that was like 8 months ago.
I'm gonna pop this pussy all motherfucking summer. So, bitch, I need a motherfucking Henny or some motherfucking plan B, bitch.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Right Point of View YouTube channel. And this is a channel where we talk about all kinds of controversial issues from a conservative lens. So I hope you stick around because we got some juicy topics for today. As you saw in the intro, it's gonna be good. So stay with me. Let's get right into it. So we really have to touch on this really hot topic, which is abortion, and why I think it's really important to really hit this conversation home, because I think the disconnect between liberal point of view and a conservative point of view is really important. And I'm going to show you why in this video, because this idea that abortions are just this casual form of birth control has gotten a little bit crazy, and you're gonna see from this video today how crazy it's actually gotten. All right, let's get right into it. So we're gonna be jumping right into a Kamala versus Trump standpoint, so you can actually see for yourselves how they keep pushing this Trump abortion ban, which is so far from the truth. There is no such thing as a Trump abortion ban. Trump and this whole Roe v. Wade debacle, as he's been saying time and time again, he has put the power back in the state's hand, meaning as a former president or almost to be new president, he has no authority to ban abortion. And he's already stated he does not plan to ban abortion, but they would have you think something different. So let's jump right into it. Let's go.
I want to turn to the issue of abortion. President Trump, you often touted that you were able to kill Roe v. Wade. Last year, you said that you were proud to be the most pro-life president in American history. Then last month, you said that your administration would be great for women and their reproductive rights. In your home state of Florida, you surprised many with regard to your 6-week abortion ban, because you initially had said that it was too short. And you said, quote, I'm going to be voting that we need more than 6 weeks. But then the very next day, you reversed course and said you would vote to support the 6-week ban. Vice President Harris says that women shouldn't trust you on the issue of abortion because you've changed your position so many times. Therefore, why should they trust you?
Well, the reason I'm doing that vote is because the plan is, as you know, the vote is, they have abortion in the 9th month. They even have, and you can look at the governor of West Virginia, the previous governor of West Virginia, not the current governor.
So whether or not you completely agree with that, I do believe some people have come out and actually verified there are some states that will allow for certain reasons for you to abort even after birth. But I did actually watch a video, and I hopefully can find it. I'll put it in here if I can. There was a girl who went live and said, hey, I changed my mind. She was just kind of testing the clinic. Said, hey, I changed my mind. I'm 8 months pregnant. I want to abort the baby. Is that possible? And she said, yeah. She started taking her information and told her when she can come in. I think that that is crazy. Like just wrap your minds around that. I know people like to separate human life from this child inside a mother's womb, but I think that's crazy. I mean, we're talking about 8, 9, like some children survive after somewhere in the middle, the 2nd trimester, can still survive. So we're talking about life, like real life, not just a pile of cells or a clump of cells like some of them would like to. But anyway, let's keep listening.
He's doing an excellent job. But the governor before, he said the baby will be born and we will decide what to do with the baby. In other words, we'll execute the baby. And that's why I did that, because that predominates, because they're radical. The Democrats are radical in that. And her vice president...
Side note, look at this woman's face. I think she's so cringe. Like, she's really trying to... like, you can read the body language. Like, it's... Like, look at her. It's fake. It's so fake. It's so phony. I don't know how anybody doesn't read between these lines, but anyway.
Pick, which I think was a horrible pick, by the way, for our country, because he is really out of it. But her vice presidential pick says abortion in the 9th month. is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me, hence the vote. But what I did is something for 52 years. They've been trying to get Roe v. Wade into the states. And through the genius and heart and strength of 6 Supreme Court justices, we were able to do that. Now, I believe in the exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. I believe strongly in it. Ronald Reagan did also. 85% of Republicans do. Exceptions. Very important. But we were able to...
So I think that's really important, because usually, like, would we want abortion to be a federal situation? I mean, it makes sense that the citizens that live in whichever state make their own voices heard, make their votes, you know, casted, and decide as a state which way they want to go. And the majority would rule on that decision. You have some states, he's even mentioned that some states he thought would be more conservative on the decision actually ended up being very liberal. So, I mean, you just have to maybe go to a state that aligns with your beliefs, you know what I mean? Because at least it's not countrywide. Imagine there was a abortion ban and the federal government decided to say all across the board, abortions are done. At least this way, it allows for the expression of different people's beliefs on the topic.
Get it? And now states are voting on it. And for the first time, you're going to see, look, this is an issue that's torn our country apart for 52 years. Every legal scholar, every Democrat, every Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted this issue to be brought back to the states where the people could vote. And that's what happened. And now, Ohio, the vote was somewhat liberal. Kansas, the vote was somewhat liberal, much more liberal than people would have thought. But each individual state is voting. It's the vote of the people now. It's not tied up in the federal government. I did a great service in doing it. It took courage to do it. And the Supreme Court had great courage in doing it. And I give tremendous credit to those 6 justices.
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born. Madam.
Ooh, she is so evil. Like, we already know, you know, it's been widespread that these moderators or whatever they are were completely biased. But honestly, that really irked me when I watched this live. Like, man, they're so disingenuous, people, which is why I'm even doing this video, to highlight for you how this messaging is so dangerous, so dangerous.
Vice President, I want to get your response to President Trump.
Well, as I said, you're going to hear a bunch of lies, and that's not actually a surprising fact. Let's understand how we got here. Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade. And they did exactly as he intended. And now in over...
She's choking up because the lies are too much for her throat. Like, girl... Bye!
20 states, there are Trump abortion bans, which make it criminal.
Trump abortion bans. Like, I need you guys to understand how they pump these little talking points to you. It's like they just spoon feed you these little, you know, the way that they say things for, like, it's not a Trump abortion ban. You know what I mean? It's just... Some states are deciding. It has nothing to do with Trump. He gave the ability back to the states. But just by using that wording, there are so many people that will just hear that, take it and run, never do any research, never actually look into it. And they rely on the simple-minded people to just take something like that soundbite, and just believe it. You know what I mean?
For a doctor or nurse to provide health care in one state, it provides prison for life. Trump abortion bans that make no exception even for rape and incest, which understand what that means. A survivor of a crime of violation to their body does not have the right to make a decision about what happens to their body next. That is immoral. And one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government, and Donald Trump certainly, should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. I have talked with women around our country.
It's not just about the mom. Like, listen, hear me out. I definitely agree that women should be able to decide, because it's not just about having a baby. And I'm a little bit in the middle with this. But there has to be limits to this. You know what I mean? You can't just, like, it's so casual that people are having 2, 3, 4, 5 abortions. They're popping Plan B like vitamins. And proudly. I guarantee if abortion wasn't so readily available, it would encourage and force people to think twice before they make that mistake. But if you know, worst case scenario, if you ever change your mind, you could just go abort the baby. You're not going to be extra careful as you would if you knew that wasn't always a readily available option. You know what I mean? So I think it is important to have rights for the mom, but also preservation for the child and that life. It's important.
You want to talk about this is what people wanted? Pregnant women who want to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term.
Didn't he just say he believes in exceptions? Even though, again, Trump is not the one making the call on abortions. It's in the state's hands. But even with all of that said, he's made it very clear. He just said it. He believes in exceptions, and 85% of Republicans do also. Again, just with her hammering the same lie, take the soundbite, so that's how you'll feel. You'll look at Trump in the light of the Trump abortion ban. Like, it's so hard to take her in because she's just so disingenuous. It's really hard for me to watch, honest.
They don't want that. And I pledge to you, when Congress passes a bill to put back in place the protections of Roe v. Wade, as President of the United States, I will proudly sign it into law. But understand, if Donald Trump were to be reelected, he will sign a national abortion ban. Understand, in his Project 2025, there would be a national abortion monitor that would be monitoring your pregnancies, your miscarriages. I think the American people...
She just keeps repeating it over and over and over. It doesn't matter how many times he's made clear on this stage, multiple times. That is not his viewpoint, his standpoint, none of that. And she just keeps repeating it. It's so annoying. Ooh, I can't stand this woman. Honestly, it's so hard.
That certain freedoms, in particular the freedom to make decisions about one's own body, should not be made by the government.
Thank you, Vice President Harris.
Well, there she goes again. It's a lie. I'm
Exactly.
not signing a ban, and there's no reason to sign a ban, because we've gotten what everybody wanted. Democrats, Republicans, and everybody else, and every legal scholar wanted it to be brought back into the states, and the states are voting. And it may take a little time, but for 52 years, this issue has torn our country apart, and they've wanted it back in the states. And I did something that nobody thought was possible. The states are now voting. What she says is an absolute lie. And as far as the abortion ban, no, I'm not in favor of abortion ban, but it doesn't matter, because this issue has now been taken over by the states.
Would you veto a national abortion ban if it came to
Well, I
your
won't
desk?
have to, because again, and two things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote, especially now with the 50-50, and essentially 50-50 in both Senate and the House. She's not going to get the vote. She can't get the vote. She won't even come close to it. So it's just talk. You know what it reminds me of when they said they're going to get
Okay, so that's enough of that. We don't need to watch anymore. We've all seen the debate, I'm sure, by now. But I just wanted to start there because now we're going to react to some other videos that I pulled from TikTok and YouTube, other social media, to show you how people behave around this topic of abortion at this point. And honestly, I think it's disgusting. I think it's sad. I think that there's a complete disregard for life, and that is her radical view, I believe, has pushed that, in my opinion. So let's check it out. Okay, so we need to check out how diabolical this clip I'm about to show you is. Her name is Sukiana. She's I would say a B-list celebrity, maybe even a C-lister. Nobody cares about her really. But she makes music, she's in the hip hop culture, all that kind of stuff. But she's been very outspoken on her openness of her sexuality, and she's really ratchet and all those things. But check out how she talks about birth control and taking Plan B in this case.
I got pregnant on these a lot of times. Baby, I had a long night last night. I ain't gonna lie, but baby, I had took my birth control out, y'all. Knowing I'm not supposed to because really I'm fertile murder, but baby, now I gotta take me one of these. You know what this is? Emergency contraception pill, y'all. And this not even the one. This one like the generic brand, so I hopefully it works. And if it don't, baby, I'm gonna be pregnant. Gotta do what I gotta do, like a real baby. And guess what? It's already tonight's gonna be the 72 hours. It's about to be right there, so I should have been to this. So like, I'm just saying, like, you got 3 days after you get there. You got 3 days to take this pill, or you're gonna be pregnant. But I ain't gonna lie, I got pregnant on these a lot of times.
A lot of times.
Like a jelly bean, baby.
A jelly bean, baby. Oh my gosh.
He keep trying to get me pregnant, y'all. He done talked me into taking his birth control out, because you know I was on a birth control, but he done talked me into taking it out. So I took it out, and now I'm taking the Plan Bs, you feel me? But this is all a scam. How do I take out birth control that lasts 4 years to go to, you feel me, taking Plan Bs that cost $50 every time? Ain't that crazy?
I mean, at this point, she might as well be like the face of Plan B. Yeah. So why should people like that just be given an opportunity to just be disgusting and irresponsible? Like she's popping them like jelly beans. Jelly beans! I think that is absolutely crazy. But this is another one. She made a track about it, like a song. Henny and Plan B. And on another note, it's so embarrassing to the culture. So embarrassing that people like this are representative of Black culture. You know what I mean? Unfortunately. I mean, every culture has its bad apples, but this is like diabolical. Seriously.
I will not be getting pregnant by your fuck ass this motherfucking summer, bitch. I'm gonna have.
Look at them with the pills on their tongue. Oh my gosh. So that was that. Suki with the good coochie is what she calls herself, okay? Now let's get into another one. Woo, y'all, this is crazy. Is this not crazy to you? I know there's some people watching it with their jaws to the floor. Go ahead, pick up your jaw, mama. Go ahead, pick up your jaw. All right, look at this one. So this girl, that I'm about to show you, her name is Ekane. She blew up on TikTok because of her crazy relationship with her children's father. She's been pregnant multiple times, multiple abortions. She's pregnant, was recently pregnant, and her boyfriend got into a fight, and she just decided, nah, she doesn't want to do this. But listen to how she casually speaks about this. Honestly, guys, this is mind-blowing. So
when's the baby due? Let me just be very honest with y'all.
After what happened today, I decided to not go through the pregnancy. And yeah, I know I just said in the YouTube video I reached my cap on abortions, but 2 abortions is not that bad last year. Like, that was like 8 months ago.
2 abortions is not that bad last year. That was like 8 months ago. Yo, I don't know, man. This is crazy. You didn't know you wanted to do all that before having the baby? You didn't know your child's father was a loser or abusive or whatever the case may be before that? 2 kids ago? She has 2 kids with this man. And she'll even openly say that she's going to have sex with him again. She's going to do all of these things. But you know what I'm saying? 8 months ago, she had 2 abortions in 1 year. The other one's popping pills like it ain't nothing. Crazy. Okay, so to finalize this video, I want to end with something I think is really important that kind of ties all of this stuff that I've been talking about together, and how these positions can be extremely dangerous and how they're trying to articulate it to the public. So this is a very viral story that happened a couple of years ago, but it's being brought up now. You know, go figure. Obviously, they want to tie it into their Trump abortion ban narrative. But this girl's name is Amber Thurman, and she had an abortion. We'll get into her story. We'll react to it. Let's get into it.
2 years ago, 28-year-old Amber Nicole Thurman, a medical assistant and a single mother to a 6-year-old boy, found out she was pregnant. Amber had just secured her own apartment and was thinking about going to nursing school. She made the decision to terminate her pregnancy. A strict abortion ban had recently taken place in her home state of Georgia, which caused Amber to travel to North Carolina for the procedure. Traffic made her miss the appointment, so the clinic...
You can already hear how they're trying to narrate the story to, you know, the new blah, blah, blah in Georgia restricted her from... Anyway, we'll get into it.
Her medication, but are known as abortion pills. Once back home, Amber experienced profuse bleeding, vomiting, severe pain. She eventually passed out. Her boyfriend called for an ambulance. At the Georgia hospital, Amber's condition deteriorated quickly. In a rare occurrence, it was discovered her body had not expelled all the fetal tissue and an infection was spreading. Official Georgia State medical expert analysis of her case says Amber should have received a life-saving D&C, but doctors waited 20 hours before deciding to take her to surgery.
That's very important, which we'll get into later. Doctors decided to wait. Not that they decided to not do it. They decided to wait for whatever reason. They didn't do it right away. And whatever happened, happened. But the wording, again, and how they project this.
Amber's blood pressure had taken a dive. Her organs had started failing. In the operating room, her heart stopped. On the way to surgery, Amber's last words to her mother were, "Promise me you'll take care of my son."
All right, so that's the story of Amber, and very sad. I just want to put that out there. Nobody should not be able to properly receive care of any capacity. You know what I mean? So this is a very, very sad thing that has happened to her, and it's unfortunate. By the way, she was pregnant with twins, and they said in this video that it's a rare situation, but it's not. When you take an abortion pill, they actually usually have you come back a couple days later just to make sure everything was clear. I guess she drove home and decided not to stick around to do that, but by the time she got to the hospital and everything and the doctors waited, it was too late. However, it's not because they weren't willing to perform it or couldn't perform it, because they'll talk about, you know, jail time and being whatever. So that's not the case, but I'll show you this next clip. Here we go.
And her name, and we will speak her name, Amber Nicole Thurman. Amber Nicole Thurman. Amber Nicole Thurman. That's right. And she had her future all planned out. And it was her plan. You know, let's understand, just take pause on that for a moment. She had her plan. What she wanted to do. For her son, for herself, for their future. And so when she discovered that she was pregnant, she decided she wanted to have an abortion. But because of the Trump abortion ban here in Georgia, she was forced to travel out of state to receive the health care that she needed. But when she returned to Georgia, she needed additional care. So she went to a hospital.
She needed additional care. No, there was complications in the abortion pill itself. And this is not a rare occurrence. It's actually quite common. You take an abortion pill and it basically does what it does. And there's usually fetal tissue still left. Maybe it was even partly because of the fact she had twins. It's a lot of work for one little pill. You know what I mean?
But you see, under the Trump abortion ban, her doctors could have faced up to a decade in prison for providing Amber the care she needed.
No, not true. Again, we showed in the first part of this video that for the life of the mother is one of the exceptions. There's, as far as I'm aware, Georgia is not allowed to perform a life-saving abortion surgery. And again, it's not that they wouldn't do it. They scheduled it for the day after, which was too late. All right, so enough of that. Listen, the point of the matter of this all is there's a reason they're bringing up this story. It's disingenuous. This happened 2 years ago, but as I said, it goes with the narrative and it goes with the promotion that abortion and the practices of abortion is not the problem. They want you to believe that she didn't die because of the pill, which is exactly what happened. She died because of the Trump abortion ban. This is what I mean with these people and how disingenuous they are. And it's so important to highlight this issue and have this conversation, because for the single or simple-minded voter or people that are watching this lady speak on this just completely dishonestly will believe that to be true. And that's an issue. If she drove to another state, she accomplished exactly what she was looking to accomplish. It's just the procedure itself has risks. It's dangerous, which is going back to the conversation this all started. Abortions should not just be frivolously done and performed. This is a dangerous procedure. Anyway, I hope some of this made sense to you guys. I don't know what we're gonna have to do. I think it's so important that we spread this message, and you can help by liking this video and help to create the awareness, because it's so important for young girls like Amber. When you have people like Sukiana, that Kane girl, Kamala, and all of these people who are promoting that abortion is just, it's just normal. It's like curing a hangover. Just get rid of it. No. Just no, we can't do that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening.